When it comes to explaining how the massive stones of the Great Pyramid were moved into place, ramps are one of the most widely accepted theories. But the devil, as they say, is in the details. How exactly would such ramps have been designed? This question has puzzled engineers and archaeologists for decades, leading to a host of ideas ranging from straight ramps to spiraling and zigzagging ones. The simplest version of the theory suggests a straight ramp that extended from the base of the pyramid out into the surrounding desert. Workers could haul the massive limestone blocks, some weighing up to 15 tons, up the incline using sledges and ropes. Sand was likely wetted to reduce friction, as shown by experiments recreating ancient construction techniques. While straightforward, this approach would have required an enormous ramp, stretching up to a mile long, to maintain a manageable slope of around 5 degrees. This design would have used more material than the pyramid itself, and presented logistical headaches in terms of construction and dismantling. Next, there's the zigzag ramp theory, which proposes ramps running up the pyramid's faces in a zigzag pattern. This design would have required less material and provided workers with better access to higher levels. However, critics argue that zigzag ramps could have blocked access to the already completed sections of the pyramid, making construction inefficient. Perhaps the most intriguing variation is the spiral ramp theory, which envisions a ramp coiling around the pyramid as it rose. This design would have allowed for a more compact footprint, avoiding the need for a massive straight ramp stretching into the distance. A spiral ramp could have been dismantled as the pyramid rose, leaving no trace. However, creating stable, consistent inclines on a spiraling ramp would have been a formidable challenge for ancient builders. Each of these theories comes with its own set of benefits and limitations, and the lack of definitive archaeological evidence keeps the debate alive. What we do know is that these ramps, in whatever form they took, were part of a system that relied on sheer human ingenuity and labor, proving that the ancient Egyptians were master planners and problem solvers. Let's step back and consider the simplest explanation: human labor. The ancient Egyptians didn't have cranes or motorized equipment, yet they constructed the Great Pyramid of Giza, an engineering marvel made from over 2 million stone blocks. How did they do it? For centuries, historians believed sheer manpower was the key. Workers used sledges to transport limestone blocks, which could weigh up to 15 tons. To reduce friction, evidence suggests they poured water onto the sand, as seen in ancient paintings and confirmed by modern experiments. By wetting the sand, they halved the effort needed to move these massive stones. But manpower alone wasn't enough. This was a highly organized effort. Archaeological digs have uncovered evidence of a bustling workers' village near Giza, complete with bakeries, breweries, and medical facilities. These weren't slaves as once thought. They were skilled laborers motivated by wages, food, and even national pride. But even this theory leaves questions unanswered. How did they lift those heavy blocks to higher levels of the pyramid? The ramp theories explored earlier provide part of the answer, but even so, the logistics and precision still seem almost superhuman. While ramps and manpower dominate most discussions, another fascinating theory suggests the ancient Egyptians might have floated the stones into place using water. This idea hinges on the proximity of the Nile River and ancient irrigation channels that might have been part of the construction process. According to this theory, the Egyptians used boats or wooden flotation devices to transport stones closer to the pyramid site. Once there, they could have utilized a network of canals and locks to elevate the blocks. Engineers and archaeologists have pointed out the practicality of this approach, as it would dramatically reduce the effort required to move such massive objects. Modern experiments with buoyant systems have shown this is not just plausible but surprisingly efficient. What makes this theory especially intriguing is the evidence for advanced water management systems in ancient Egypt. From sophisticated irrigation to the construction of the Karnak Temple's water tanks, the Egyptians were clearly masters of hydrodynamics. While we may never know if floating stones was the key, the sheer ingenuity of this possibility is a reminder of how innovative ancient civilizations could be. Now let's dive into one of the more mysterious and debated theories. The idea that the ancient Egyptians didn't carve the stones at all, they molded them. Proponents of the stone softening hypothesis suggest that the builders may have had access to a chemical or biological process capable of turning stone into a malleable state, allowing it to be shaped and poured like modern concrete. Here's where this fascinating image comes into play. Imagine this. If the ancient Egyptians used such a technique, the resulting blocks could look something like this: smooth yet irregular surfaces, appearing almost fused together. Some researchers have even used computer modeling to propose what molded pyramid blocks might have looked like when hardened, hinting at a similar appearance to these dark gleaming blocks. This theory gains traction from unusual anomalies in the pyramid stones, such as microscopic air bubbles found in some samples, which are rare in naturally quarried rock. What makes this theory shocking is its implications. It would mean the Egyptians possessed knowledge of chemistry thousands of years ahead of its time. While no direct evidence of such a process has been found, the visual and practical appeal of the hypothesis keeps it alive, sparking endless curiosity. Could the ancient Egyptians have developed a liquid stone formula that modern science is yet to rediscover? The Great Pyramid of Giza isn't just a pile of stones, it's a mathematical masterpiece. Its design reflects astonishing precision, sparking endless fascination. For instance, the ratio of its height to the length of its base closely matches the golden ratio, which is 1.618, found throughout nature and art. Was this deliberate, or a coincidence? Many believe the Egyptians understood and intentionally used these proportions. Its alignment with true north is equally impressive, so precise that even modern tools would struggle to replicate it. Experts theorize they used the stars, possibly the North Star, to achieve this. And then there's the Orion's Belt theory. The pyramid's layout mirrors the three stars in Orion's Belt, a constellation tied to Osiris, the god of the afterlife, suggesting a cosmic and spiritual connection. Lastly, there's the pyramid's relationship to pi. Dividing its perimeter by twice its height gives a value remarkably close to 3.14159. Coincidence or evidence of advanced geometry? These mathematical and astronomical marvels make the Great Pyramid not just a physical wonder but a cosmic blueprint, a testament to ancient ingenuity and their connection to the universe. Could the ancient Egyptians have harnessed sound to defy gravity? While it may seem like science fiction, the theory of acoustic levitation suggests they could have used sound waves to lift the massive blocks used to build the pyramids. Modern experiments have shown that focused sound waves can suspend small objects in mid-air, using nothing but vibration and frequency. What if this concept wasn't new but rather rediscovered knowledge that ancient civilizations had mastered? Some researchers point to the precise design of the pyramid's inner chambers as potential amplifiers of sound. The King's Chamber, for example, with its massive granite blocks and unusual resonance, may have been more than a simple burial space. It could have served as a tool to amplify specific frequencies. The Egyptians were known for their understanding of harmony, as seen in their music and rituals. Could it be that they extended this knowledge to engineering? Perhaps they used carefully tuned instruments, chants, or other devices to generate the frequencies needed to lift or maneuver the stones. While there's no physical evidence to prove this theory, the possibility of ancient civilizations using sound as a construction tool is both thrilling and humbling. What else might they have known that we've lost over millennia? If sound waves feel like a stretch, imagine this. What if the Egyptians had access to technology that negated gravity altogether? The anti-gravity device theory suggests that they may have used tools or methods to neutralize the immense weight of the limestone and granite blocks. Supporters of this theory often point to strange depictions in Egyptian art, like the Dendera light, a series of carvings that some interpret as representing advanced devices. While mainstream archaeology dismisses these interpretations as symbolic or religious, others believe they are visual clues about forgotten technologies. This theory doesn't just apply to Egypt. Around the world, ancient megalithic sites like Stonehenge or the massive stone blocks of Baalbek also seem to defy the limits of ancient engineering. Were the Egyptians part of a global network of knowledge, or did they independently discover a way to manipulate the forces of gravity? Some even suggest that anti-gravity devices could have been sacred tools, used sparingly and kept hidden for fear of misuse. Skeptics, of course, argue that no evidence of such devices has been found. But for believers, the absence of evidence is just another layer of mystery. Could the ability to control gravity be one of humanity's lost sciences, hidden beneath centuries of history? And now, let's turn the dial of mystery up a notch. Could the pyramids have been built not by the Egyptians of the past but by humans from the future? The time travel theory suggests that the Great Pyramid, with its advanced mathematics, perfect alignment, and unexplained precision, might be the result of knowledge brought back in time. To some, it's the ultimate explanation for the seemingly impossible engineering feats of ancient Egypt. The theory gains traction because the pyramids don't just fit their time, they transcend it. Their alignment with true north, their relationship to mathematical constants like pi and the golden ratio, and their astronomical links to Orion's belt all seem too advanced for a Bronze Age civilization. What if these weren't coincidences but deliberate choices made by people with access to advanced tools and knowledge? Some even speculate that the pyramids were built to withstand the test of time as a message or monument for future generations, a breadcrumb trail left by travelers from an advanced civilization. While the idea of time travel remains firmly in the realm of speculation, it's hard to ignore how the pyramids seem to exist outside their era. Are they merely the result of unparalleled ingenuity, or could they represent something far more extraordinary? Whether the truth is grounded in ancient science or stretches into the fabric of time itself, the Great Pyramid keeps pulling us back, perhaps because it holds secrets even time can't erase. As we dive deeper into the mysteries of the pyramids, one of the most provocative theories emerges: the idea that they were designed or influenced by extraterrestrial beings. The basis of this theory lies in the sheer scale, precision, and complexity of the pyramids. How did a Bronze Age civilization, without cranes, lasers, or modern tools, achieve such seemingly impossible feats? Believers in the alien architect theory point to the alignment of the pyramids with true north, the perfect geometry, and even their connection to astronomical features like Orion's belt, as evidence of knowledge that seems out of reach for the time. One of the most compelling arguments comes from ancient Egyptian texts and carvings. Some of these depict mysterious gods descending from the heavens, often associated with advanced knowledge. Could these figures have been extraterrestrial beings sharing their technology with early humans? Skeptics argue these depictions are purely symbolic, representing deities or natural forces, but the uncanny resemblance of some carvings to spacecraft keeps the theory alive. If aliens were involved, it might explain how these massive structures were built with such precision. But the absence of hard evidence keeps this as one of history's most tantalizing mysteries. If aliens don't satisfy your curiosity, consider another fascinating idea. What if the pyramids were built by giants? Many ancient cultures, from the Bible to Hindu texts, reference races of giants who once walked the earth. Could these beings have been responsible for the construction of the pyramids? The massive limestone and granite blocks, some weighing over 70 tons, seem almost impossible to move with human strength alone. This theory suggests that the so-called impossible tasks may not have been so difficult for beings far larger and stronger than us. Supporters of this theory point to ancient myths and legends that describe giants building great cities, temples, and monuments. In fact, the Greek historian Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BCE, recorded stories of immense laborers constructing the pyramids. While mainstream archaeology attributes the work to skilled human labor, believers in this theory argue that such myths might hold a kernel of truth. The sheer size of the blocks, combined with the lack of evidence for certain tools, leaves just enough room for speculation. Could the giants of legend have left their mark in the sands of Egypt? But what if neither aliens nor giants were involved? What if the builders were human, but part of a civilization far more advanced than we imagine? The theory of lost ancient technologies proposes that the ancient Egyptians, or perhaps a predecessor civilization, had access to tools and knowledge that have since vanished. The precision of the Great Pyramid's construction, from its millimeter-perfect base to its incredibly straight internal shafts, seems difficult to explain with copper tools and sledges. Archaeological discoveries have hinted at advanced knowledge, such as the intricate carvings found in the Serapeum of Saqqara. The massive granite boxes there, cut with laser-like precision, suggest techniques that seem out of place for their time. Some researchers speculate the Egyptians might have used forms of early concrete to mold stones in place, or even employed unknown forms of machinery. Skeptics argue that the sheer skill and labor of the ancient workers could explain these feats, but the idea of forgotten technologies lingers. Could the pyramids be a testament to knowledge so advanced it was lost to time, leaving us only to wonder how far back human ingenuity truly goes? Among the most mysterious theories about the pyramids is their potential connection to Atlantis, the legendary advanced civilization described by Plato. According to the story, Atlantis was a technologically superior society that sank into the ocean thousands of years ago. Supporters of this theory believe that survivors of Atlantis carried their knowledge to Egypt, influencing the design and construction of the pyramids. They argue that the technological and mathematical precision seen in the pyramids might have roots in a civilization more advanced than we imagine for its time. One of the strongest points supporting this theory is the timeline. Plato placed the fall of Atlantis around 9,000 years before his own time, roughly aligning with the end of the last ice age. This is the same period when some researchers suggest early humans might have made significant leaps in technology. Additionally, the connection between Atlantis and Egypt is bolstered by the similarities between the mythological descriptions of Atlantean architecture and the pyramid's monumental scale. While skeptics dismiss Atlantis as a philosophical allegory, believers see the pyramids as physical evidence of a lost chapter in human history, one where Egyptian civilization inherited the knowledge of a drowned empire. From Atlantis to secret societies, another theory takes a darker turn. Some believe the pyramids are deeply connected to the Illuminati, a shadowy global organization often associated with controlling humanity. The theory suggests the pyramids were not only a marvel of engineering, but a symbolic structure tied to a centuries-old conspiracy. The triangular shape of the pyramids, resembling the Illuminati's iconic eye in a triangle symbol, has fueled this speculation. Proponents argue that the alignment of the pyramids, their astronomical connections, and their mysterious chambers all point to an intention far beyond mere tomb building. They see the pyramids as part of a larger, global network of power and knowledge. This idea is extended by pointing to other pyramid-like structures around the world, such as the ones in Mesoamerica and China, suggesting a shared or manipulated origin. Could it be that the pyramids are messages left by an ancient organization that later evolved into the Illuminati? While mainstream historians roll their eyes at this idea, the theory's allure lies in its boldness. It connects one of history's greatest monuments to a web of secrecy and control that stretches into modern times. In any case, the pyramids remain an enigma, and every theory, from ramps and sound waves to aliens, Atlantis, and the Illuminati, adds another layer of fascination. Each idea reflects our endless curiosity about the past and our place in the universe. The mysteries of how the pyramids were built are mind-blowing, but their secrets don't end there. Get ready to dive into the most unexpected, bizarre, and fascinating facts about these ancient wonders. You won't believe what's next. The Great Pyramid of Giza is a marvel of engineering, but what's even more astonishing is how fast it was built. It's estimated that this colossal structure, made from over 2 million stone blocks, was completed in just 20 years. Let's put that into perspective. That's roughly one block every 2 minutes, 24 hours a day for 2 decades. And we're not talking about small stones here. Some blocks weighed as much as 15 tons. Imagine moving that much material so quickly. To grasp the scale, consider this. The total volume of the pyramid is about 88 million cubic feet. That's enough stone to build a wall 10 feet high and 1 foot thick, stretching across the United States from coast to coast. And if that's not impressive enough, the pyramid's base covers an area of 13 acres. Roughly the size of 7 city blocks. All of this was accomplished without modern machinery or tools, relying solely on human ingenuity, coordination, and sheer determination. For an incredible 3,800 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza held the record as the tallest man-made structure in the world. Standing at 481 feet tall, now it's 450 feet due to erosion and the missing capstone, it wasn't surpassed until the Lincoln Cathedral in England was completed in 1311. To put it in perspective, this ancient marvel was taller than a modern 40-story building. What's even more impressive is how it was constructed using nothing but simple tools and manpower. The pyramid's size and symmetry were achieved with such precision that it continues to amaze architects and engineers today. For nearly 4 millennia, it stood as a towering symbol of human ingenuity, dominating the skyline of its time. While the Great Pyramid's height is astonishing, the story of its stones is equally fascinating. The limestone blocks that make up much of the structure are filled with fossils and date back over 2 billion years to an ancient seabed. These stones, quarried locally, are some of the oldest materials ever used in construction. The granite blocks in the King's Chamber, however, were sourced from Aswan, 500 miles away. Transporting these massive stones, some weighing over 70 tons, remains a logistical mystery. What's striking is how these ancient materials still hold their strength after millennia, silently bearing witness to Earth's deep history. If you think the height and materials are impressive, wait until you hear about the precision. The Great Pyramid's base is nearly a perfect square, with less than an 8-inch variation across its 756-foot sides. Even modern buildings struggle to achieve this level of accuracy without advanced equipment. What's more, the pyramid is aligned almost perfectly to true north, with an error of just 0.05 degrees. Such precision was likely achieved using the stars, demonstrating the ancient Egyptians' advanced knowledge of astronomy and geometry. This attention to detail is why the Great Pyramid remains one of the most extraordinary feats of engineering ever accomplished. One of the most fascinating facts about the Great Pyramid is its precise geographic location. The latitude of the Great Pyramid's summit is 29.9792 degrees north. Intriguingly, this number matches the speed of light in a vacuum, 299,792,458 meters per second. While this could be a coincidence, it's a striking one that has sparked debates about the extent of ancient Egyptian knowledge. Did they possess a deeper understanding of mathematics, astronomy, or physics than we give them credit for? What makes this even more fascinating is their exceptional surveying and engineering skills. The pyramid's placement wasn't arbitrary, it's perfectly aligned to true north, with an error of less than 0.05 degrees, as I mentioned. The possibility that ancient builders might have encoded such knowledge into their structures remains an enduring and captivating mystery. That's about it. How do you think the Egyptian pyramids were built? Share your theories in the comments. For more useful information, watch other videos.